Now, MEATER has very generously taken and sent me a block, and I'm going to give away one because I did buy one myself. Actually, I didn't buy it. My wife gave me one that I've really enjoyed using after some time of figuring it out. So this is a review of the MEATER. Now, like I did mention, this video is sponsored by MEATER, and if you do have trouble believing that this review is what I actually think, you can go up to the video. I'll leave it in the card on the side here of before I got it from them, and it just was a gift, and I kind of acquired it on my own. I do like the product, that's the nutshell, but here's a couple of things about it. Now, if you're buying a temperature probe strictly on looks, well, this little guy is the best looking one out there. I mean, this block looks awesome. It's got a nice bamboo case, and it's got strong magnets for pulling the cover off of the back. Insert your battery, and same thing when you're putting it back on, snaps in. And you got two magnets, top and bottom, so it easily pops back onto the fridge, and it stays there. You will need to install the MEATER app, and that's probably the highlight for me. Connecting up to the app is super quick and easy. Push the little button, follow the directions, and this thing was connected in seconds. Like, it was just super, super easy. Definitely a plus there. This app does an absolute ton. After you select your meat, it'll tell you where to insert the probe for the best results of getting the most accurate temperature readings. Plus, then it'll also give you an estimated cook time. This is usually about 45 minutes, 30 minutes after it goes on, obviously depending on the cut of meat that you're cooking. What you need to do is, once you want to start a cook, take this thing off, pair up the app with your phone, insert the probe as selected on the app into the meat, and then go put it on the barbecue. Now, this base needs to go on the barbecue. You don't want to leave this thing inside. You'll very quickly find out you're going to have connectivity issues. What I do is I just clip it onto the side of the barbecue on my pellet hopper, and that seems to do the trick for me just nicely. The range on it, initially I was having trouble getting any kind of good range out of this thing. So that was, for me, that's the fix. This thing's got to be right by the barbecue as close as you can. You don't want to get it hot or get it cooked either. So the pellet hopper is fine, and that puts it like a foot or two away. And I've got no trouble anywhere on my yard using this app and kind of keeping track of what's going on with my meat. Optionally, you could also add a spark plug to your barbecue. And if you connect this up to a different device, let's say your iPad, and that's on your home Wi-Fi, that MEATER app's going to work anywhere now where you have internet. So that's a plus to putting it through another device. The iPad or the tablet would be sitting kind of close inside wherever where you get Wi-Fi and where you're also getting a Bluetooth signal from your probe. And then your phone, connect up the app there as well, log into the same account, and then you can access remotely if you need to. Yeah, I know the new barbecues, they all come with that stuff. I'm still using a Pit Boss pellet grill that I've had for a long time, and it's been faithful, so I'm just making do with what I've got. Battery life is great. It comes with one AAA, and I've heard from other users these batteries last a long time, and I definitely believe it. I've done a ton of cooks with it already and had no battery issues at all. So what will this probe not do for you? Well, this probe will not make you a chef. Now, what do I mean by that? If you're taking a cut of meat, and it will tell you very accurately when it's done, but it's not going to tell you when the meat is tender, for example. So at least you know your cook is safe and it's cooked completely. But if I'm doing something like pulled pork, I'll use that to kind of give me a good indication of when the meat is properly cooked. Then I kind of know when it's time to wrap it up and maybe add some butter or add my sauces, and then let it go really slow until the meat is fall apart tender. So that's something you're going to have to figure out on your own. What this does let you do, keeping that same principle in mind, is you can start now really accurately recording steps to get a really good cook on a meat. I'll leave a link to the brisk that I made up here, and I think I'm using 4 different temperatures, maybe it's 3, and that the MEATER probe is providing me with that information on when to wrap it, when to sauce it, when to do everything, when to pull it off, when it's done resting. So there's a lot of different things I'm getting from this probe that before was just a matter of guesswork or just poking at the top of the meat to kind of do the bounce back test to kind of see if it was totally cooked. and my results were not nearly as consistent. Now, the MEATER Plus advertises a range of, I think it's 165 feet, and I would say mine is pretty close to that right now. It wasn't the first time I used it, and I think that was, like I said, just user error, me not having this close enough to the actual probe inside the barbecue. If you do want the infinite range, you're going to have to either run it through a repeater, like I said earlier, run it through an iPad, or you're going to have to get the the unit that's got the 4 different modules on it, and that one has the repeater built in, so it'll connect up to your Wi-Fi through the app, and it'll just kind of do its own thing. You leave that by the barbecue. Another downside is you only get one probe. So if you're going to be using this for steaks to get that perfect cook for medium, medium rare, well done, whatever you like, you're going to need a probe for every single cut of steak. To get it done, I guess you could kind of cheat a little bit. If your barbecue has a really even heat, you could use just the one probe and then put it on your most well done cut of meat and just write down the temperatures that MEATER suggests for the other ones. Not the greatest way of doing it, but it's a bit of a workaround if you don't want to buy all 4. I do understand that they are a little bit pricey. Not everyone wants to shell out a whole bunch of money for these probes. If you do want the absolute best way of monitoring temperature, the multi-probe option is probably a better one for you. Cleanup is also super easy, and I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it on that. You take the little scrub brush, and the app even tells you exactly how to clean the probe. A little bit of water, a little bit of soap, and it's like 15 seconds, and you're done. Probe is back on the base, it's charging and ready for its next use. So why this probe versus any other one? For me, it's a couple of things. Bluetooth is one. I want it remote. I want it on my phone. And I don't want to have to be checking inside the barbecue or going to the barbecue to check if I put a probe right beside there, or put a temperature monitor with a probe on the top of my barbecue. So that was a big one for me. An accurate temperature is also super important. And this one kind of gives you a bonus too. There's actually 2 sensors. There's the outer part of the probe and there's the inner part of the probe. The inside of the probe, that's the part that you stick into the meat. That's going to tell you what the actual temperature of the inside of the meat is. And then the outside will actually tell you the temperature inside the barbecue. A bonus little tidbit there for you gas grillers that just have the dial on the top. We all know how reliable those things can be.